Better be quiet.
I don't know. The winning thing want to go.
Hey, boys and girls. This is Miss Beck's class. And make sure we have our mask on our face to make our school a healthy place. We're going to do our knowledge lesson for today. And our knowledge lesson is going to be about a person who didn't have the use of one of his senses. And he actually didn't have the use of his eyes. So do you know what you call it when somebody doesn't have the use of their eyes?
Blind.
Blind. It's blind. Has any of you ever known a blind person before?
Yeah.
Did you know a blind person before, Sienna?
My grandma.
My old assistant that I used to have, Mr. Arnold, he was not blind, but he was mostly blind, and he could only see stuff that was really, really up close. So even though he could only see stuff really, really up close, he still worked in a classroom just like me. So he was really, really cool. This person that we're going to do, the name of this person is Ray Charles. Have any of you ever heard of Ray Charles? No. Okay, so we're going to learn about Ray Charles today. And he was really, really famous. Now, Miss Beck said that Ray Charles was blind. That means he could not see, right? All right. Some people might think that being blind is a disability, but actually for Ray Charles, he used it and he was really, really awesome. Do you know what the word disability means? Like something that gives you a hard time, like something that makes you have a condition where you can't do your life normally. Now, if you were walking around and then all of a sudden the next day you couldn't see, can you imagine what that would be like? I mean, I don't know. If all of a sudden you couldn't see anymore, that'd be pretty crazy, right, Sienna?
If you're blind, you can't see.
Mm-hmm. Remember when Miss Spencer was talking about how she all of a sudden couldn't hear anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that would be like. But Ray Charles used his disability as an opportunity. An opportunity means that you have a chance to do something awesome. And his work was remarkable. Anybody know what the word remarkable means?
No.
Remarkable means like really, really awesome. So super duper cool. So I bet you're wondering what really, really awesome thing he did. Are you?
Yeah.
Do any of you know what awesome thing he did? Okay, so Miss Beck's going to tell you about Ray Charles. And you'll find out what awesome thing he did, even though he was blind. So I'm going to show you some pictures.
Could he see when he was blind?
No, he couldn't see, but I'm going to show you some things that he did do, Matthew. You can't see when you're blind, right?
Well, if it was magic, he could.
All right, so let me tell you the story of Ray Charles. Ray Charles was a famous piano player. See that piano up there? In fact, he was one of the most famous piano players. And you've seen him, haven't you? You haven't seen him? You've seen him. Okay. People all over the world recognize Ray Charles' face and still love the wonderful songs he wrote. He did do that. He was a remarkable musician. Remarkable meaning really, really awesome. Stands out. But even more remarkable is the fact that he became a musician after he was blind. Blind means that you can't see. You're not able to see. Ray Charles was born with regular eyesight and grew up playing and doing things that all other kids do. He liked exploring the country with his brother, throwing rocks into streams, and picking blackberries. But the one thing he loved to do more than anything was music. And he loved to sing at church on Sundays. He would also go to the restaurant where they had a jukebox, which is a big machine that plays music. And Ray Charles would listen to the jukebox for hours on end. Any of you ever heard of a jukebox?
Like a juice box.
It's a thing that they had long ago before everybody had phones and iPods and stuff. I'm going to show you one.
Jukebox.
You might have seen a jukebox. Some people have them still, but you might have seen it like at a restaurant. Like if it's an old diner. You ever seen something like that? On the screen, a jukebox? No, oh, not like a juice box, like a jukebox. Like you listen to it like music.
Yeah,
Yeah, you seen that before?
Yeah.
It plays music. It's so cool. And used to be everybody couldn't walk around with music. Now listen. But all right, look at this picture. But when Ray Charles was 6 years old, he became sick with a very terrible eye disease. A disease is a sickness or illness. His mommy took him to a doctor who said that the disease would cause Ray to lose his sight and become blind. By the age of 7, Ray Charles was totally blind. If a person is completely blind, they can see no colors, no shapes, no light, nothing. So if you turn out the lights and shut your eyes, you can imagine what the world looked like to Ray. So, I'm gonna do it.
Turn off the lights.
Okay, so we turn off the lights and we shut our eyes. And this is what it looks like to him. Now remember, when he's 5, he could see. All of a sudden,
There's nothing here.
yeah, it looks like there's nothing, right? You can't see anything, but what can you do? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't see me, but you can still hear me. Can you
I
hear
don't
me
know.
walking around?
No.
No? Well, if I keep walking too long, I'm going to have a hard time because I might run into something, right?
I can help you. Someone can help you.
Yeah, you can see in the dark, but he couldn't even see in the dark. Okay, his mommy wanted him to be successful in life even though he was blind. So she sent him to a special school for people who were blind. Ray Charles was determined to learn to succeed in school. The teacher showed him all kinds of ways he could live on his own without very much help from people, even though he couldn't see.
Yeah.
So he did have to have people help him.
Was he really old that day?
He was only 7. It might surprise you to know that blind people like Ray Charles can do most of the things that normal people can do. But how can they do this? They learn to use their other senses really, really well, particularly if they go to a school where blind students go. Blind people learn to read with their fingers other than their eyes in a special form of writing called Braille. So if we look up here at the pictures, they have to feel these little different dots. They're like raised up, and then they can actually use those and they say words to them. If you've ever been walking around somewhere and you see the name of something and then you see the little dots underneath it, that's what they use. They go up to it and they feel it, and that's how they can read what it is, even though that they can't see it.
Yeah.
So they read their dots with their fingers. Ray Charles' favorite part of school was music lessons. So you learn to use his other senses to become an amazing, remarkable musician. There's that word, remarkable. Ray once told someone, "My eyes are my disability, but my ears are my opportunity." A disability is a challenge, and an opportunity is a good chance to accomplish something. That means even though he couldn't see, he felt he was so lucky that he could still hear.
And, taste.
Yeah, he can still taste. So here's his finger. Here's some fingers on a piano.
No.
And he learned to play a piano because he could touch the keys on a piano, and when he tapped them, they all made a different sound. For most people, it takes a really long time to learn how to play the piano, but he learned how to play it very quickly. And he also learned how to play a saxophone and some other instruments. Ray Charles loved music. And one time he said, "My ears are like sponges. They soak it all up. By this, he meant his ears were able to hear a new song just once, and he will be able to remember it and play it exactly the way he heard it. Did y'all hear that? Only had to hear it one time. Ray Charles' strong sense of hearing helped him develop ability to hear notes that sounded good together. In school, he quickly learned to write his own songs. But by the time he left school, he did know he wanted to be a musician. All right, let me show you a cool picture. Matthew, have a seat. That's a really cool picture. So this is a picture of Ray Charles, and Ray Charles is the guy in the seat here with the glasses on. He's the guy who can't see. And then right here is the president at the time called Richard Nixon. Now, you know where the president's office is? Do you know what it's called?
Where?
It's called the Oval Office. So over the years, Ray Charles became world famous. And he had many records of songs and gave concerts all over the world. And he even got to meet the president. He almost always had a wide smile on his face, and he would stomp his feet to the beat of the music. He would sway back and forth and move on the piano. Nothing made Ray Charles happier than playing music. He once said, "Music is a part of me. I look at music, and it's something I can have."
One little piggy went to the market. One little piggy stayed home.
You please need to have a seat.
One piggy had bacon. One piggy had none.
Excuse me.
And one little
Excuse
piggy
me. So, do you think this was a real story or
No.
not?
No.
You don't think it was a real story? Thank you.
It is.
Yeah. Ray Charles was a real person. This was a real story.
What?
He was blind. So, what does being blind mean?
Can't
See. That you can't see.
Colorblind.
Why do you think? Yeah, colorblind means what?
You can't see a lot of colors.
Right, right. Why do you think it might be important to learn about Ray Charles?
Because it's blind.
Right. Yes. If you're blind, it doesn't have to be a horrible thing. It can be used as an opportunity. Okay. Yes.
If he's in good, he can't see any knowledge.
Yes. So Ray Charles was a remarkable musician, and the word remarkable means wonderful or amazing. All right. Matthew, you may go sit in the refocus seat, sweetheart. Right there. All right.
Which one?
You know where the refocus sheet is. See? All right. So I'm going to say a few different things. And if you think this thing is remarkable, give me a thumbs up. If you think it's not remarkable, thumbs down. All right. This is easy. You think a glass of water is remarkable? No. What about a pencil? What about someone who can play the piano really well? What about someone who ran faster than anyone else in the race?
This what we use.
What about a wet towel? Is that remarkable?
This what we use.
What about the tallest building in the whole world?
Yes.
Yes.
At a beach. Yeah, that's from that.
So today we learned about the life of Ray Charles, and I bet you would like to hear some music of Ray Charles. Would you like to hear some music?
Oh.
Okay, let's hear music of Ray Charles. And Sienna, I thought it was really cool that you knew exactly who that was. So one of his most famous songs he sang was "America the Beautiful." See if you ever heard this song before. Listen. You ever heard that? Maybe.
I know. Oh,
Look at his, listen to his voice. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty. Okay, now this is one where it's kind of jazzy. It's called Hit the Road Jack. You might have heard this song before. There he is at the piano. And there's his singer girls, the backup girls. I bet you've heard this, maybe on a commercial. Hit the road, Jack, and he's playing that piano. You may have heard that one. No more, hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. So, if you didn't see him with his glasses on, would you necessarily know he was blind? I mean, kind of.
It looks like goggles.
It looks like goggles. Yeah. I think he's just having those on to kind of block the light and kind of have that on in general, but he can't see anything.
Right there.
Huh?
A microphone.
Yeah? Let's see. Let's hear him one more time. Road Jack, don't come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Whoa, look at him saying, no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. That's a good song. Boys and girls, what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to think of something that you remember about Ray Charles and his life until you're grown up. Thank you for coming by. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.